Hi students, this is Deepak Pokhriyal once again, and this video is for my English students of class 12. Uh, Book name is Flamingo and it is second lesson. In the previous video we discussed the first story of this lesson. Now in this video we are going to discuss its second story. The name of this particular story is I Want to Drive a Car. Now the theme of this story. Theme is similar to the previous one. These two stories they discuss about the lost childhood of poor children. Earlier we read about Sahib, that how he is a rag picker and he doesn't go to school. He does not enjoy the basic amenities of life. And now in this story we are going to read about Mukesh. Mukesh belongs to a bangle making family of Firozabad, and he is also a victim of the grinding poverty traditions, and mm, he is living a life of exploitation. So go to let us first see the text, and then um, we'll talk about this story. So as I said, the name of this story is I Want to Drive a Car. Mukesh insists on being his own master. I will be a motor mechanic, he announces. Do you know anything about cars? I ask. I will learn to drive a car, he answers, looking straight into my eyes. His dream looms like a mirage amidst the dust of streets that fill his town Firozabad, famous for its bangles. Every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. It is the center of India's glass blowing industry, where families have spent generations working around furnaces, welding glass, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. Now, here one thing the writer is saying, he's saying that his dream is like a mirage. Mirage, uh, those who are science students, they know mirage is an illusion where you see something which really does not exist. So here his dream has no meaning. His dream is nowhere near reality because of the conditions around him, because of uh, the place where he lives. And one more thing here in the last line of this first paragraph, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. So it tells about the magnitude of the work, the big number. It tells about the big number they are making the bangles in Firozabad. So it seems as if they are making bangles for the uh, women in the land. All the women they wear bangles, which are made at Firozabad. Mukesh's family is among them. None of them know that it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnaces with high temperatures in dingy cells without air and light. That the law, if enforced, could get him and all those 20,000 children out of the hot furnaces where they slog their daylight hours, often losing the brightness of their eyes. Now, here we come across the big number of children, those who are engaged in the bangle making. So it is illegal, but none of them know. They work in dingy cells. Dingy cells, air, it means where there is not enough sunlight and enough air. And in such unhealthy conditions they work in. And they lose their eyesight because they are working in this hot and dark place. They work for hours. Mukesh's eyes beam as he volunteers to take me home, which he proudly says is being rebuilt. Now, Now the writer has an opportunity to see the life of these people. So Mukesh takes her home and he's very proud. His home is being rebuilt. So home is always a dream come true for people, whether rich or poor. Home is home, and he is proud. He may be proud because not many people in his locality, not many people where he live, they get this opportunity of making their home. So Mukesh's home is being rebuilt. So it's a thing to be proud of. We walk down stinking lanes choked with garbage, past homes that remain hovels with crumbling walls, wobbly doors, no windows, crowded with families of humans and animals existing in a primitive state. Now, this line suggests the condition of the area where they live. So, when she is going to Mukesh's home, she is walking past homes, those which are not the proper homes, but just hovels, um, crumbling houses, or houses which are not properly built, with crumbling walls, wobbly doors. They are shaking because they are not proper to their hinges, properly fixed to their hinges. They are shaking. And in these homes, humans and animals, they are living together. So like they are living in a primitive state in the beginning of this land. He stops at the door of one such house, bangs the wobbly iron door with his foot, and pushes it open. So imagine there is a wobbly door which is coming out of its hinges, so it will not open easily. So you have to kick it. In order to open it, you have to kick it. So he did the same. We enter a half-built shack, half-built broken hut here. In one part of it, thatched with dead grass, is a firewood stove over which sits a large vessel of sizzling spinach leaves. Thatched, thatched roof. It means the roof, which is not of concrete, but it is of bamboos and grass and leaves. Okay, thatched roof. So a part of it was thatched, and under that thatched roof there was a firewood stove, and spinach is being cooked. So you must have seen how the sizzling sound comes when we cook spinach. On the ground in large aluminum platters are more chopped vegetables. A frail young woman is cooking the evening meal for the whole family. Frail young woman, frail, very delicate. Hmm? Through eyes filled with smoke, she smiled. She is the wife of Mukesh's elder brother, not much older in years. She has begun to command respect as the Bahu, the daughter-in-law of the house, already in charge of three men, her husband Mukesh and their father. So she is the daughter-in-law. She is taking care of the family, not very young, not very old, but she is still taking care of the house. When the older man enters, she gently withdraws behind the broken wall and brings a veil closer to her face. This is the custom. As custom demands, daughter-in-law must veil their faces before male elders. So that's the custom. You must have witnessed such a custom in your house also. But generally these days only with elder women, not everyone. Despite long years of hard labor, first as a tailor, Then a bangle maker, he has failed to renovate a house, send his two sons to school. All he has managed to do is teach them what he knows, the art of making bangles. So now this line throws light on the financial condition of these bangle makers. Like Mukesh's father, he was a bangle maker. First he was a tailor, then he became a bangle maker, but he never earned enough to send his sons to school or make a house. It is his karam, his destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother, who has watched her own husband go blind with the dust from polishing the glass of bangles. Can a God-given lineage be ever be broken? She implies. Now, this particular line shows us the mentality of these people. After they live, like in the previous chapter, we said a perpetual state of poverty. When continuously you are living in poverty, your mindset, your attitude, um, that also changes. You never remain much positive, and you started taking your situation as your destiny. So here, this old woman, the grandmother, is saying that it is his karam, destiny, and she is in a way saying that we can't do much to change our situation. So how deep this poverty, how deep this hardship has gone in their mind, that they are not trying to change it. Born in the caste of bangle makers, they have seen nothing but bangles in the house, in the yard, in every other house, every other yard, every street in Firozabad. Spirals of bangles, sunny gold, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple, every color born out of the seven colors of the of the rainbow, lie in mounds in unkempt yards, are piled on four-wheeled handcarts pushed by young men along the narrow lanes of the shanty town. So everywhere there are bangles, in the house, in the town, on the streets. People are selling bangles on the hand carts. Shanty town, shanty town, a town which has houses like shanty means unplanned. Okay, shanty means not properly developed. And in dark hutments, next to lines of flames of flickering oil lamps sit boys and girls with their fathers and mothers welding pieces of colored glass into circles of bangles. Their eyes are more adjusted to dark than to the light outside. That is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. So this is another hazard they come across, that they are working in these dark cells, and that is why when they come in light their eyes pain, and these people, they lose their eyesight before they become adult. Now now the next paragraph talks about a girl called Savita. This can be any girl, because all the girls, all the boys, they are sharing the same fate. Savita, a young girl in a dark pink dress, sits alongside an elderly woman soldering pieces of glass. As her hands move mechanically like the tongs of a machine, I wonder if she knows the sanctity of the bangles she helps make. Bangles hold a very important place in the life of all the married women in India. And this girl who is making these bangles, maybe she is unaware of it. It symbolizes an Indian woman's suhag, auspiciousness in marriage. It will drawn It will dawn on her suddenly one day when her head is draped with a red veil, her hands dyed red with henna, and red bangles rolled onto her wrist. It will dawn on her suddenly. She will understand one day suddenly when she will get married and she will wear these bangles. She will then become a bride like the old woman beside her who became one many years ago. She still has bangles on her wrist, but no light in her eyes. Now, but her fate will not change because Savita is sitting beside a married woman. She is wearing bangles, but she does not have any light in her eyes. She is not living a very happy life. And what is she saying? एक वक्त शेर भर खाना भी नहीं खाया. She says in a voice drained of joy. She has not enjoyed even one full meal in her entire lifetime. That is what she has reaped. Her husband, an old man with a flowing beard, says, I know nothing except bangles. All I have done is make a house for the family to live in. So, see, the same financial state. And the woman is saying that she did not eat full meal in her entire life. Husband is saying that he knows nothing. He knows only making bangles. All I have done, okay, he has made a house. Maybe that is an achievement. Hearing him, one wonders if he has achieved what many have failed in their lifetime. He has a roof over his head. Some sort of achievement it is, because Mukesh's grandfather was not able to build a house, and this man is saying that I have made a house for my family, so that's an achievement. The cry of the cry of not having money to do anything except carry on the business of making bangles, not even enough to eat, rings in every home. It means this complaint is with everybody, with every family, that they do not earn enough. The young men echo the lament of their elders. Little has moved with time, it seems, in Firozabad. Years of mind numbing toil have killed all initiative and the ability to dream. Mind numbing toil. Toil means hard work. Mind numbing, it means after doing this hard work for many years, day after day, month after month, year after year, generation after generation, their mind is very tired. It is unable to think anything else. Why not organize yourselves into a cooperative? I ask a group of young men who have fallen into the vicious circle of middlemen who trapped their fathers and forefathers. So this is a suggestion. Suggestion came from the writer. Why don't you make a cooperative? An association. Now, what is the answer? Even if we get organized, we are the ones who will be hauled up by the police, beaten, and dragged to jail for doing something illegal, they say. Okay, this is the complaint of these bangle makers. They say that if they organize, they make a group, they will be put into jail. There is no leader among them, no one who could help them see things differently. They are unable to think anything else, and they have no leader. Their fathers are as tired as they are. When children are tired, fathers are tired. So, who will take the initiative? They talk endlessly in a spiral that moves from poverty to apathy to greed and to injustice. Listening to them, I see two distinct worlds, one of the family caught in a web of poverty, burdened by the stigma of caste in which they are born. So the writer is talking about the two worlds. One world is of people, those who think that they belong to a particular caste of bangle making, and uh, they are confined in it. They cannot break it. and come out of it. So that's one. The other, a vicious circle of the sahukars, the middlemen, the policemen, the keepers of law, the bureaucrats, and the politicians. So other people are those, another world is of those who are opportunists. They see the opportunity of exploiting these people. And who are they? They are sahukars, middlemen, policemen, bureaucrats, politicians, and keepers of law. Together they have imposed the baggage on the child that he cannot put down. Before he is aware, he accepts it as naturally as his father. So right from the childhood, the children they are carrying this burden, and they grow up with this burden, and then they start taking it as their destiny, and they never want to put it down, or they never make an effort to put it down. To do anything else would mean to dare, and daring is not part of his growing up. They cannot dare to think anything else or do anything else. When I sense a flash of it in Mukesh, I am cheered. I want to become a motor mechanic, he repeats. But Mukesh is different. Here also the writer sees a silver lining. Okay, he repeats, he will go to a garage and learn, but the garage is a long way from his home. I will walk, he insists. Do you also dream of flying a plane? He is suddenly silent. No, he says, staring at the ground. In his small murmur, there is an embarrassment that has not yet turned into regret. Embarrassment that has not turned into regret yet. It means he is embarrassed when he says no to flying airplane. But he is not regretting that why his uh, dream has a limit. He is dreaming of driving a car, but he is not dreaming of flying an aeroplane. So this difference is there. But when we compare Mukesh with Sahib in the previous story, we see that Sahib is not happy when he got that opportunity of changing his life. So Mukesh is slightly better than Sahib, that he wants to change his life, he wants to become a motor mechanic. But here he is not dare enough to say that yes, I want to fly an airplane. So he has a limit in his dream. He is content to dream of cars that he sees hurling down the streets of his town. Few airplanes fly over Firozabad. Now this is metaphorically here. Few planes fly over Firozabad. It means um, in the group to which Mukesh belongs, not many people think of something big. Now, let us see the chapter in nutshell. So, Firozabad, this chapter is about Firozabad, the center of glass blowing industry, bangle makers working in hazardous conditions. What are the hazardous conditions? They are working in dingy cells, and they lose their eyesight, and they are not earning enough. Mukesh's family live in terrible conditions, working in glass furnaces with high temperatures, dingy cells without air and light, stinking lanes choked with garbage, crumbling walls, wobbly doors, no windows, crowded with families of humans and animals coexisting in a primeval state, often lose brightness of eyes. Now, mind-numbing toil all these years has killed all initiative and ability to dream. They are not able to dream or think anything else. Another point, do not organize into the cooperatives, vicious circle of middlemen. If organized, hauled by police, jailed, beaten for doing something illegal. Life moves from poverty to apathy to greed to injustice. So They are not able to form a group. Distinct worlds, one family caught in a web of poverty, burdened by the stigma of caste in which they are born. The other a vicious circle of sahukars, the middlemen, the politicians, the policemen, the bureaucrats. Daring is not a part of growing up. Mukesh's attitude different, dares to dream of being a motor mechanic. Now here this is the silver lining that others they do not dare of doing anything else, but Mukesh he wants to become a motor mechanic. Miserable plight and occupation of the people in Firozabad, center of the glass blowing industry, every family engaged in working at furnaces, welding glass, making bangles for generations, has about 20,000 children working in hot furnaces, slogging daylight hours. Slogging daylight hours means wasting their daytime, often losing the brightness of their eyes before they become adults. Okay, the scene in Mukesh's house. So, how's Mukesh's house? Wobbly iron door, half-built shack, in one part thatched with dead grass, a firewood stove over which was placed a large vessel of sizzling spinach leaves, more chopped vegetables in a large platter. A frail young woman, that is his sister-in-law, Mukesh's elder brother's wife, was cooking the evening meal for the whole family. That was the scene in his house. Reaction to poverty. How do they react to their situation? Resigned to their fate, born to the caste of bangle makers, Mukesh's father was initially a tailor, then a bangle maker, had worked hard but had not been able to either renovate his house or send his sons to school, could only teach them bangle making. Mukesh's grandmother had seen her husband go blind with the dust from polishing bangles, accepted fate. They say it is God's doing. God gave lineage that could not be broken. Mukesh's dream wants to be a motor mechanic, decided to go to a garage to learn about cars, will walk all the distance. There is an irony also in Savita's case. Irony. And what is the irony? Savita's story, young girl working mechanically, soldering pieces of glass, unaware of the sacred significance of bangles. Suhag for Indian woman would realize it when she became a bride. The old woman had bangles on her wrist, but no light in eyes. See, the colors of bangle, they represent happiness, they represent uh, auspiciousness for other people, but those who are making these bangles, these colors are missing from their life. So this is the irony. Now, for comprehension, I have chosen some short answer questions and some long answer questions. Short answer questions you will answer in 30-40 words. What makes the city of Firozabad famous? So it is the bangle making, glass blowing industry, and everywhere there are bangles and the families of bangle makers live there. Second question, mention the hazards of working in the glass bangles industry. So you will talk about the hardships these people they go through. They do not earn enough to fulfill their other needs, and it is also not good for their health. So you will write how they lose their eyesight, and children are also working. That is also one of the hazards. Third question, who is Mukesh? How is Mukesh's attitude toward his situation different from that of his family? His family has accepted the defeat. His family is not trying to change their situation, but Mukesh, he wants to become a motor mechanic. So definitely he has a different attitude. You'll mention that in this answer. What forces conspire to keep the workers in the bangle industry of Firozabad in poverty? So you will talk about that. those two worlds, two different worlds. One was which is where people live, they have this stigma of caste, they have taken it as their destiny. So that is also one of the reasons why these people don't want to change. And second is of the world of sahukars, policemen, middlemen, bureaucrats, those who never want these people to come out of their poverty. Fifth question: who is Mukesh? What is his dream? And why does it look like a mirage amidst the dust? So this answer, this you can write. It is like a mirage. His dream is like a mirage because the possibilities are bleak. The possibilities of his dream coming true. What contrast do you see? Sixth question. What contrast do you notice between the colors of the bangles and the atmosphere of the place where these bangles are made? So this is an irony. These bangles, they represent the seven colors of rainbow: happiness, brightness, auspiciousness of life. But in Firozabad, all these things are missing. So you have to show that contrast in your answer. Now, long, detailed answer type questions, and these questions you will answer in 150 words. Two questions I have chosen for you. Lost Spring explains the grinding poverty and traditions that condemn thousands of people to a life of abject poverty. Do you agree? Why not? So in this answer, you have to describe. You can also refer to the first story, which is of Sahib, to answer this question. That how thousands of people, they are forced to live in this poverty. So you will definitely agree, and you will discuss the conditions which are making them live this life. Now the second question: justify the title of the story, Lost Spring. So you have to discuss the title and how it is apt, and how really these two stories talk about the childhood stolen from these children. So you will discuss that what normally these children should get and what are they getting in these situations. So here we complete the second chapter, Lost Spring. Do complete your homework and send it to me on my personal WhatsApp number. That's all in this video. See you in the next video. Thank you.